The Accra Regional Police Command will meet the later part of today. The organizers of the Vigil and a representative from the Ghana Traditional Council to finalize a matter involving what the celebrities call the Dumsor Must Stop Vigil. Because the chiefs of the La Traditional Council say where they want to convert, that's the greenery of the Tetakwashi interchange, really belongs to the La Traditional Council. But early on, we've had the Ghana Traditional Council saying they can't convert there necessarily because we have a ban on noise making and drumming, just ushering in the homo.
Right. You see, in the beginning I made reference to when we're talking of Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana. So what the Ghana Traditional Council is doing here is trying to psychologically expansionist program. It wants to take part of La as its jurisdiction. Do you think the La chiefs will also sit back and listen to this pronouncement and be quiet?
So what becomes a turf war?
Because exactly so.
Because
so
the La chiefs say the Vigil can go on.
Yes, because
the Ghana chiefs say no. The Ghana Traditional Council.
So let me tell you, it's now not about the Vigil, but it's about my jurisdiction. It's about jurisdiction now. That is what is behind the messages. It's not about the Vigil. Oh, the Vigil can go on. The Vigil cannot go on. That is not the issue now. The issue now is, this is my territory. Who are you to tell me that something happening in my territory is your territory? So if Ghana Traditional Council today says that, no, because of drama and this, you cannot do it in that land, and then the La people keep quiet, tomorrow he's going to say that, oh, but that boundary is part of Ghana something, Ghana territory. Are you getting my point? And that day, they begin to get battles. And then they will now question the La chiefs. When we were telling people not to make noise in the territory, did you talk? Are you getting my point? So today, the issue now is not about the Vigil, but it's about whose jurisdiction, whose boundary it is.
But where comes in this boundary and everything? When we know it's the people's right to demonstrate. They only need to get the right permits as to where they want to do the demonstration.
Yeah, my brother Roland, you see, it's all about rule of law. If our laws and our priorities are set right in a manner under the code, freedom and justice, all these things will not arise. You understand? All these things will not arise. The law tells us that there's freedom of association, there is freedom of organization, and there's freedom of assembly based on stipulated law. So if a citizen comply with those requests,
simple,
how can you hold him to ransom? I'm this, I'm that. We are tired and sick of this. We are thinking about how this country will advance, how this country, people will be liberated and live as a citizen, not people being cajoled to do what they don't want to do.
What is now turning into a more like a dispute between two traditional countries?
Yes, and because
of what use is it?
You see, like I always say that there's nothing that is not effective to a citizen. As they are doing it, this dangling, this is for you, it's not for you. This is for you, it's not for you. When there's any fire outbreak, it is the ordinary man who will suffer.
Yeah.
It's the ordinary man who will suffer. So we must be careful as a nation and do things according to nature and how we are established as a nation.
Now we expect the police to come in with the directive, and so I guess the police,
Yes,
after they meet them, they will come to a.
Because this morning I heard the rumor, Kakadang, the La, what do you call?
Gadangbe Council.
La, yes, he's saying that even they've come to see him with invitation, he's going to lead them, pour the libation, and they will carry on. You see,
that's KB Asante.
No. He said it's called
the La Traditional Ulomo.
The Ulomo, Kakadang, Ogbo, whatever. I mean, their names is something.
Let me tell you something. I come from a clan that is synonymous to Ulome. So I know this kind of tradition. I'm a Tindana.
You are like traditional priests.
I'm a Tindana.
If you look at our history, Tindana.
That's it. When such things happen, you see, society is now dynamic. When things, for example, if it is in my community, and they say, oh, there will be no noise, and we found that this vigil has credibility, it makes sense, It's about Dumsor. We want to put pressure. It's a matter just verbal pressure on government to be able to fasten things. You know the consequences of Dumsor. Children are dying in hospital. Jobs are lost. Factories are closed. Big factories. Investors are fearing to come.
That's what we're told.
It's a lot to the country.
That's what we're told.
So, it's not what we are told. We are seeing it. You do your studies. Don't you run business? Don't you pay more fuel here? So these are facts. If it is in my territory, we have a way of pacifying our gods, even if the people are going to do it in Ghana traditional area. As a traditionalist, you have a way of pacifying the god, taking permission from the gods for that act to be done. For the good of society.
Now we have two gods from separate areas, so no problem.
Oh yes,
I think we only have about 5 minutes. Let's touch on this. There's this thing about the minority leader now, Oseche Mensah-Mbosu. Yesterday was on Joy FM.
Yes.
And apparently there was somebody who wants to contest him in the constituency. And says, it's a Swami, right? Swami constituency.
Yes,
Swami, yeah.
Okay. Yes.
And says he's been a member of parliament since 1996, and as a result of that, he needs to pave way.
Okay.
But if you look at the more developed democracies, you may have leaders of the various legislative agencies or bodies that have been there for even 30 years, 40 years down the line. Is experience not good enough? Do we need to be changing all the time? I remember the subject of Abraham Edu, who was a member of parliament for...
Tema somewhere.
Was it Tema West or Tema East?
Tema East.
One of the Temas.
Yeah, Tema East. Tema East. Where Natoshi is.
Oh, that's Tema West. If not,
Tema West, yes. Tema West, yes.
Yeah,
Natoshi is in my concern.
I think,
Natoshi, Tema West.
you see, as for the issue of contest, there's no problem of contest. The contest, the party has come out with rules and regulations. If you qualify within the rules and regulations, that one there should be no problem. It's democracy. And so in the same manner, as it is democracy, you do not need to circumvent the rules. So if you are a party in government perhaps may have a way. All parties all over the world have an underground way to do negotiations to strategically to win power. Okay? So what he's calling for is perhaps because we are not in power. So why don't you strategically allow him to build up? Because that is a very intelligent person in terms of the job. And my brother has been in Palme for. No, I'm not saying.
But he's not the only one. Somebody else can come.
Oh yes, somebody else.
If I'm not here, somebody else can come.
But the point I'm making, I say yes. That's why I began by saying yes. But strategically, as a party, you can sometimes circumvent certain things. For example, you are not in power. You have to look at the approach differently. When you are in power, free flow. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
But he's making a case. If we were in power, I would have known what to say. Perhaps I'll kick against him. But I'm looking at it, we are not in power, and that is a person who is leading the house over the years, and the man full of previous knowledge of parliament. Parliament, people just think you walk in and fine. Previous knowledge is like MD somewhere with 10, 20 years experience is important. But I think the bottom line is we are not in power, and so we need a different strategy.
Roland.
So that's okay.
Let me tell you what.
You have been out of parliament before.
I'm going to share my experience with you. Roland, let me tell you. I serve under Abraham Edu. And the time they changed Abraham Edu, I say, what? These people have done a mistake.
Then you knew that your time was coming up.
No. Not that our time was coming up. Because, I mean, as an objective person, you must always take in the nation into consideration. Anything that will push the nation forward is my concern. Yeah. Anything that will bring division to the nation, I'm not part of it. You understand? Look, Abraham Edu was changed suddenly for political expediency. People think Abraham Edu is maybe this, that, they should sack him from there. They remove him. When the thing was changed, Abraham Edu was removed. The one who came, was he made the leader of the house? He wasn't. So the people lost. You understand? Let's look at Ajaho. Ajaho's constituency, they are the wisest constituency. They've done a nice thing for their state. No matter what Ajaho, the problem he had in... very good. Ave. Now Ajaho is the speaker. It's a credit to the constituency that we have been able to produce a speaker. You go to London, you go to US, I've been there, their houses have been there. We have MPs who have been in the house for 40 good years.
Yes.
You see, experience is accumulative.
Yeah.
And when such a person is speaking, he talk with authority. What do you call the leader now, Chairman Sabosu, is somebody who is experienced. If Swami are listening, they should maintain him.
Okay, you are one of the people who was experienced. You want to go?
No, when I was moved, listen, I was a whippo, deputy whip.
All right.
In Parliament. When I was sacked, when I was sacked,
as a former member of Parliament for Infantiman East.
The person that they brought is a backbencher. Is that what they want?
And the constituency is now a Kumfi in the central region. And we also have had in the studio MP for Nabdam constituency and Boniface Gambila. Thanks for joining me, gentlemen.